Y'all, now listen, this is a really important subject we do have to talk about. Okay, we first brought it up in passing when we were talking about transmaxing, and talking about the people like Lamato, aka Tina, who probably are more vulnerable persons who might be a little bit more prone to give in to some type of manipulation or some type of trick that would set them up to either willingly or by force be in a position where their body, their sexuality, their gender, something like that is being used, manipulated, questioned, changed, something. And a lot of times people ask the question like, hey, well, probably just a vulnerable person, right? Probably just a loser, right? Probably just an idiot, probably just women more often, right? Or maybe an Listen, there's a lot of speculation, and I totally understand why it is. It's because a lot of victims stay quiet. And then when the worst happens, a lot of the family members of these victims stay quiet. So I wanted to cover this in particular because this family decided to speak out. Let's take a listen here.
This all-American teenager fell victim to a sextortion plot. Now his devastated parents are speaking out to Inside Edition.
And that life that he knew it was over in his mind.
17-year-old Jordan DeMay was homecoming king and popular at his school in Michigan. Like a lot of teenagers, Jordan started a flirtatious relationship with what he thought was a pretty young woman on social media. She convinced him to send her an explicit photo. But she turned out to be 3 scam artists from Nigeria who demanded $1,000 or they'd send the picture to all of Jordan's family and friends. Just pay me right now and I won't expose you, the lowlife wrote.
Right? And so now you're talking about a 17-year-old, right? So when we're saying, well, it only happens to girls, no, it can happen to guys also. Right? It only happens to the losers. Nope, he was the prom king. Very popular, vivacious, outgoing kid. Right? Oh, it only happens to the sexually inexperienced. He was a prom king. Enough said. Right? So that's obviously not what it is, right? But yes, people under the age of 25, well, they tend to, first of all, the parts of their brain that make you a little bit more impulsive and that is good at executive functions, like being able to fully evaluate all of the consequences of your possible decisions or actions, the possible risks, benefits, being able to do the cost-benefit analysis. That part of your brain is not finished functioning or developing until you're the age of 25, right? Which means a 17-year-old who, honestly, let's be real, most teachers are idiots, right? And that is the way we evolve to be. We evolve to be idiots at that age, so that way we feel invincible, we feel invulnerable. That way we are willing to take the necessary risks and chances throughout our development for us to become fully functional, fully realized people. If we were actually reasonably afraid of everything that we should be reasonably afraid of from birth, we probably wouldn't even walk. Because, why would you when you constantly fall, and falling can hurt, and you can knock out a tooth or an eye, or, you know what I mean? So there's a reason for this. We evolved to kind of think we are masters of the universe and nothing can hurt us and the rules don't apply to us. We evolved to be that way, so that way we could do this thing called life, right? At this time, at this stage of development. So it's not just, all these personal failings and personal weaknesses that make us prone to this type of scamming, right? If it was, you wouldn't have the Nigerian scammers. You wouldn't, right? Because you wouldn't be able to run these kinds of scams to that kind of level where it'd be profitable for so many millions and millions of people.
Jordan sent all he had, $300, but the bad guy demanded more. In desperation, Jordan told the extortionist, "I'm kill myself right now because of you." "Good," came the reply. "Do that fast, or I'll make you do it. I swear to God." Jordan shot himself to death. I spoke to Jordan's parents, Jennifer Buda and John DeMay.
It's an absolute tragedy that 3 men from the other side of our planet came into my home which was secure, while I was sleeping and murdered my son. There is nothing we could do about it.
The rates of sextortion are skyrocketing.
Helene,
And that's the worst part, right? Again, that impulsivity. The fact that when you're a teenager, like, you feel things like a billion times larger because you don't have like that executive control over your emotions in that way, right? And then you're afraid of the shame of it all. Like, what a waste. And then, of course, these trash bucket scammers, right? They're like, well, yeah, I mean, sure, if he offs himself, then no sweat off my butt. I'll just attack the next one. And hey, at least I for sure probably won't get in trouble then, because, like, who's ever going to tell? How's anyone going to even know? Right? That's what ends up happening. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Weiss is a cybersecurity lawyer.
These scammers have become so prolific, they're hacking into profiles that are not that young pretty girl you think you're talking to. It's actually a scammer 7,000 miles away.
The DeMays have a message for parents everywhere.
We have been urging parents to have conversations with their children that this act of sextortion is out there.
And there's a lot of other psychological techniques that they combine with this type of thing to be able to drain people of their 401ks, to get kids to steal hundreds and thousands of dollars from their parents or whatever, right? Because they're using a bunch of different techniques. So, again, yeah, absolutely, they are threatening to expose you in your most vulnerable, intimate images, or maybe something really embarrassing they got you to do in those images, right? Or maybe something embarrassing you admitted that you would never want anyone to know. You're not ready to be exposed that way. Or maybe it has something to do with a secret you've shared, right? I mean, at the end of the day, there's so many different ways that they then take that and they do this foot in the door kind of thing. Where, in for a penny, in for a pound, right? So they get you to commit a little bit, then a little bit more, then a little bit more, then a little bit more. There's a method to the madness, and people don't realize there's a lot going into this, okay? And unfortunately, when the man thought his house was secure because he thought, well, if I lock doors, that's enough. But if you don't have yourself, your children, your family fully prepared for all of the risks and all of the ways that there are risks, okay? Not being in denial, not saying wouldn't be my kid would never sext. Yeah, but what if they do, right? It's the same thing as saying my kid would never have premarital sex, and then your kid's the one who shows up with we need to stop doing that, and what we need to do is prepare them anyway. Okay, this is why it is so important. It is so important that we are arming kids from an early age with necessary information, but like the basics about life. Do you think if that kid knew that like millions and millions and millions of other kids just like him are interested in the exact same sexual stuff, have the exact same pictures, this is the average size, and do you think if he really knew, this is not a big deal? And do you think if kids all knew it wasn't a big deal? Do you think that no, but see, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, and we need to stop running away from the knowledge because we need to protect more kids. We can't protect kids without the knowledge being disseminated. I really hope that, I don't know, I guess we have to have like some type of international laws. There needs to be some type of agency that deals with this though. And, just like we do have some types of international agencies, we need one that deals specifically with online cyber type security and crimes and whatever, right? We need that. Because the fact, they're just in another country, so it's fine. Like, it's crazy, right? Scamming is billions and billions of dollars of an industry now. And when you've got lives being lost, okay, there was 100% a case where a girl was being blamed for the self-offing of a teen boy, right? Like, just like a stayed away, right? But when you have an organized crime syndicate encouraging a kid to off himself, or else here are all these threats and coercion I'm giving you, right? Well, there's nothing we can do about that? No, we need to be able to do better. 100% need to be able to do better. What do y'all think?